Alrighty, Twitchers. This is the Battle Cat, just making sure you guys can hear me. Yes, I can hear myself, so that's great. JP, I think, will join when he can. May have had some technical issues, so I shall be running the Twitch for you. Yeah, Blurs, I want to hear him too. I was going to sit back and engineer for my Ferrari boys, but I ended up running the app, streaming, commentating, doing it all as usual, so you're stuck with me. So we are here at Imola. This is round 9 of Inters Tier 1, and as we can see, it is a little bit slippery there. It is rainy and the boys have got their Inters on. We're expecting some intermittent rain for this weekend. This is a sprint, so we're out here now for a 10-minute sprint quali, followed by a sprint race. I think it was 11 laps or 12 laps, if I'm not mistaken. Then we are back into a proper qualifying session, and then a feature race. So it's going to be a little bit of a long one this weekend, but there's extra points up for grabs. Just sitting on there with K5, he has invalidated on his first run, but that's okay. He's probably just going to get a little bit of warmth in his tyres and probably go out again. Oh, he's all over the place. So, Blues is 19 at the moment. Cam is a late... he's going to be a bit late. He's picking up a trophy for some other event, maybe a real-life event that he's included in. He's going to pick up that, come home and jump into the car and come out and probably just lap everyone and put it on pole. So we'll expect to see him in about 10 minutes. I think he may miss the sprint race. So Bowner is a newbie. He's put it on pole, but quickly followed by Apollo Pepsi 123.7. Let me just make sure that my party has... I can invite JP to this party. Just 1 second, guys. There we go. Also make sure that he's... Oh, there he is.
Are we good now?
Hey, JP, how you doing?
Good. I'm hoping we are okay.
Yep, I can hear you as well, so I'll run the stream if that's all right, and you can be my co-commentator. Not a problem.
Good, all good. Hang on. All right. Yep, seems to be all good. Whoopsie doops. Things happen, but we seem to be okay. So, pleasure to be here. And obviously by the weather, it's been a bit soggy at the moment.
Yeah, we're expecting I think it's a wet quali. I think it's mixed conditions in the feature and the sprint. So these guys are Tier 1. They're going to have to show us what they're made of and look at all the different conditions on the track.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm just going to get a bit of live telemetry up so we can get a better idea for that weather forecast, because obviously it may get worse over time, or it can dry up depending on how the weather may sway. K5, M5 in the Alpine, currently in P11 up to the timing line. We'll go with a 126.581 and go P11 on the board, but actually just getting going on his fast lap did invalidate on the first time around. Apologies.
Yeah, I might just sit on with him and see what he can do. He was a little bit squirrely while you were connecting, and he's still a little bit more squirrelier as well. So let's see what he can do. K5 had some great pace in the preseason, putting a lot of fast laps in, but I don't think he's really had the results he's been wishing for. Let me just see where he stands on the overall standings.
I believe in the overall standings, K5 finds himself in P15, 28 points on the board. So he's a little bit off his teammate, 2 positions. Because his teammate's got 34 points on the board. So they're not exactly off by a huge deficit, but especially when you're lower down in the championship, just those few points can make such a huge difference in terms of your position by the end of the season. So, Alpine as a team, You know, they probably need to both step up and find that pace, and potentially can do that in the rain. But yeah, overall, we've seen good car control from K5. Yeah, he's got a little bit squiggly, but he's at least kept it in one place, and he's been able to try and extract as much as possible. So it's going to be intriguing when he comes up to line what he can actually do.
Yeah, not bad. P5 there, 123.5. Not a bad result. Yeah, just looking at his standings, he hasn't had any DNFs either. So yeah, just needs to find a little bit of the pace, and he can bring home some good results. Not unexpected. Sorry, I was just going to say not unexpected. We've got Websy leading the times at the moment with the two Saubers in P2 and 3. Mr. Broseph would be happy to see that at the moment. Just sitting on with KLX at the moment. KLX is another driver that's he's had 6 events, no DNFs, but is currently sitting in 8th position on the standings. Again, probably hasn't yet got a grasp of this new game, and results really haven't come his way. Has had no podium so far. I think the rain again is probably an opportunity for him to get some good results in here. Coming through the last few corners. And he does a P3 125.2, not bad. So let's sit on with my tier 1 driver, McDamie Dodge. He's starting his hot lap. Now, I don't know any of the corner names. They're all in Italian as well. I should know them. But one thing I did find with this new game, you can ride these sausage curves, and you'll see the drivers really attacking them and pushing on these corners. Heading up the hill here, this is one of my favourite corners, pushing up the hill. It's got a little bit of traffic in front of him, but those drivers should get out of the way. This is, I was going to say, is another corner to invalidate. One of the things the drivers need to do this weekend is just really keep it clean. We saw in Tier 3, penalties will be handed out like candy. I think nearly everyone got a penalty. Tier 2 wasn't much different. Lots of penalties there, so anyone that can keep it clean, if there's a late safety car, will definitely move up positions. So you want to just keep it on the track, keep it between those white lines. McDamie Dodge going through the last few corners here. There'll be no DRS because it is raining, and let's see what he can do on his first lap. He puts it on pole, and he puts it on pole convincingly. 121.5. That's about 0.8 faster. Oh, and saying that, Websy's just beat it by 0.2. So I was going to say maybe the track is starting to dry up a little bit. Maybe these tyres are starting to warm up. Not entirely sure. Let's have a look at the weather. It still says it's going to rain, so 79% of rain. So I think this whole quali session will be wet. Let's see who else is on a fast lap. So got Riz WRC on an out lap. Maybe we'll sit on with him. Everyone has set a lap at the moment. And you can see the front runners have already got about 5 laps on their tyres. Degradation on the inters are probably not that bad. You probably want to have the warmth in the tyres rather than a brand new fresh set of tyres. So at the moment, Webbsy's on pole, followed by McDamie Dodge and Aiden Rizims, and then Pepsi. So Riz has started his lap, heading into turn 1 and then turn 2. Definitely a place where overtakes can be made, but it gets very, very tight, and we've seen lots of cars get together. And that corner there is where I always invalidate, so that's one area to be careful of. He's getting some yellow flags in front of him, but I think it's just traffic. I don't think there's any issues. Haas gets out of the way there. It's always tricky to know if the car has has detected that you're coming up and get out of the way. You've just really got to have faith and just put your foot down and hope for the best. I'll just make sure that... Oh, yep. JP is back.
I apologize. I think I figured out what the problem is. Obviously, I'm brand new to the PS5 and I'm downloading things. And sneaky little Call of Duty had got past me and was downloading in the background and was causing big internet issues for me.
Competing bandwidth, yeah, there's always something, isn't there?
Yep.
All right, the drivers are almost done. Yep. Jamie Dodge has just crossed the line, 120.7. That's rapid. I don't think anyone's beating that. We've got Tyler, who's about 2.5 tenths improved on his time, but that's not going to be good enough for pole. Finns is coming in, so let's see what Tyler can do. But I think that pole's probably in the bag for Meowsy.
Yeah, no, fantastic lap time for him. He's in P2 in the championship, and realistically, with a 58-point deficit, he needs some good results in his favor. I mean, he is ultra consistent all season long. He really has been. But just having that extra little push and help will definitely get him over the line and bring himself a little bit closer to Websy. Obviously P2 for the McLaren driver, so the two championship contenders still go back to one another, and Tyler FF improving to P4 for the Aston Martin with the 21.385, but it is still the two right up there, P1 and P2, battling it out between the Ferrari and McLaren, so it should be an interesting one for the sprint race.
Yeah, Meowsy didn't have a great one last week. Oh, it wasn't too bad, but he, I'm sure he wanted a better result than that if he finished sixth. But Websy just needs to finish on the pointy end, and he'll maintain that championship. So it's still a long way to go. So let's have a look through here. We've got McDemi Dodge, Websy, Yusuf, Tyler, Riz, WRC, Adam Williams, Polo Pepsi, K5, Saul City. I think that's how you pronounce it. Liquid Jake, Sir Joshi, SFR, Finns, Bowner, Cool Cars, KLX. Really sad to see KLX down the bottom there. Checkered, Little Shoulder, Aussie, and Farmer Sam.
Yeah, it is a shame with the Mercedes of KLX. He's in P8, 52 points on the board. He's only 26 points off the nearest person in P7, which is Aiden Riziums in the Haas, obviously. He's had some ups and downs in terms of his races. He's been in a few top fives. Actually, no, he's only been in one top five, says the statistics in his side. However, he's had no DNFs or any problems on that point, but he's only competed in 6 races, so I think a lot of the points that he's missed out on has just simply come from not competing in enough races on his side.
Yeah, and I think it's the qualifying as well. You know, if you're qualifying down the back there, it's always hard to finish in the pointy end, so... KLX has been the runner-up for Inters a few times. He won the championship last season, but we do have a lot of good quality drivers this season. So, and like I said, KLX has been away and then jumped in and didn't have a great start to the season. So let's see who will jump on board with these guys. You want to take it away, JP?
Well, it is 5 red lights here in the sprint race, and it is Tier 1 once again away, and it is McJamie Dodge in the Ferrari who takes the lead and holds it, with Websy still following in close pursuit in P2. Yusuf Goat gets up into the top 3, VCARM holding that inside line, avoiding anyone from overtaking, and now trying to chase down the race leaders at the moment, which is Websy still in P2, hunting down McJamie Dodge. If we go a little further down, still seems to be a nice big tussle in the midfield, especially near the rear end of the field. Boner in P14, just losing position out to Checkered Flag in the V-Carb. Sir Joshi, who actually has taken up a full-time seat in the Kick Sauber in P12 for the time being, so he's going to look for maybe a few more improvements and overtakes to be found. 11 more laps remaining, including this one, so still plenty of opportunities to come. V-Carb nearly losing the rear end, and that was Checkered Flag, but still as we go right near towards the front end of the field, it is Tyler FF in the Aston Martin in P5, who was only 4.5 tenths off Riz WRC in the Alpine. Everyone's trying to just sort themselves out a little bit. You don't want to be tussling too long in these conditions. It can easily cause any type of contact or just a bit too overzealous on the throttle, and you can see yourself in a barrier quite easily.
Yeah, it's pretty clean first lap overall. No one's spinning, but just having a quick look on the stats here, it looks like Finn's has got front wing damage, and P18 and Aussie. So Sheldon and Aussie have also got front wing damage. So not sure if they're coming in the pits. We'll have a look, but looks like Farmer Sam's coming in. Yep.
Yeah, Aston Martin may have some damage on his side. Like I said, there was a big tussle right near towards the rear end of the field. Does look like he's missing an M plate on the left-hand side of the car, so he is getting a change in the front wing and a new set of those intermediates on. But it does mean that he's on a new set of the cold intermediates, and it just means a few more laps of getting them warmed up. He will have an advantage later on in terms of grip, but will it be too little too late?
Yeah, it is a sprint, so it's very hard to make up that gap. If you're going to have to pit lap one, you really need a safety car. Otherwise, it's pretty much game over.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Just currently on board with Tyler FF and the Aston Martin, but the top five hasn't really changed too much, and they're all just kind of following each other. Obviously, no DRS in wet conditions like this when we are all on the intermediates, so I think it's more just going to be following each other as much as possible, and it's all about momentum, especially in damper conditions. You know, you need to take your eye away from, you know, trying to maximize every single entry and really try and get maybe a different conservative line compared to your, you know, opponent and make an overtake that way. You just need to carry as much momentum out of the exit of a corner as possible for you to make an overtake possible. I mean, it really does kind of work in that way, especially in damper conditions where you have less grip and less traction onto the tarmac.
Yeah, just looking at the penalties, I did say it before, it's been lap 3 and there's a yellow flag. It's blocking my lap. I can't remember who. Someone's retired in the pits. I think it's Farmer Sam. But yeah, Apollo and KLX have already picked up, sorry, it's Aussie 2K. Yeah, so a couple of drivers already picked up 3-second penalties 3 laps in. So it shows you how difficult the conditions are at the moment.
I was having a conversation with Cuds and the letter P, and they were talking about how difficult it is to practically keep it inside track limits around here at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. I mean, practically, no matter where you are on the circuit, you can even be inside the white line, and in old-fashioned Codemasters, you can still pick up a track limits penalty simply because of it seeing that type of proximity, the hit boxes, as one may say, when it goes over a certain part of the circuit. So it's very sensitive when it comes to track limits, and it's very easy to pick up not only warnings, but of course penalties that 3 drivers now have.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, you can get an idea of what the feature race will be like if these guys have already picked up penalties now. So anyone keeping it clean, like I said, will likely gain positions if there's a late safety car. Looking at the front, Meowsy's picked up, he's leading by just over a second. Websy's also got about a second behind Yusuf. So the guys in front have made a little bit of a gap. Probably helps them in terms of the spray. At least they can see where they're going.
Yeah, no, especially if you're someone like McJammy Dodge or Meowsy in the race lead, having that clean air, having pure, just clean visibility, and having the opportunity to just race your own person, you know, literally don't worry about anyone behind, be aware of them, but just go at your own speed, at your own pace, make sure to, you know, not completely destroy the tread, or more specifically the, I guess its own type of rail of the tire on the intermediates, and just go at your own speed, and yeah, make sure not to completely burn out too quickly, and make the most of it.
Yeah, I was sitting on with Aiden, P6 in the Hassie. I think he just made a move on Apollo Pepsi. He seems really rapid, a little bit impatient, but it was clean. Just keep an eye on him. I think he might want to make a move on Tyler as well. It's very difficult in the rain here, especially without the DRS. So let's see what he can do as Meowsy puts a fastest lap in. No extra point in the sprint for a fastest lap. So it's more just to more about bragging rights than anything else.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Tyler FF in the Aston Martin, P6 in the championship. He's only 2 points off the checkered flag in the V-carb. So even in his current position, because obviously in a sprint race, you only score points from P8 and above, he'd actually find himself now ahead of checkered flag and goes up into P5 if we were looking at live standings in the championship. So I'm sure he will appreciate that one at the very least. Checkered flag not really having the season that he wanted. It's kind of been that way consistently round after round. There have been points where maybe Yusuf has made a mistake and he's been able to come into the limelight a little bit more, but just overall in a season situation, if we were to do a head-to-head statistic, it has been Yusuf Goat that's been a little bit better than his teammates. And the checkered flag, I'd say he's had poorer qualifyings than I would say race. He's very consistent on the pace side, but consistency can only get you so far, and he doesn't exactly find those improvements. He just kind of stays in a straight line in terms of his pace, and yeah, it's why he kind of normally finds himself a little bit further back from his teammate.
Yeah, we've seen a few of those. I think RB's doing pretty good though in the standings. So
they are.
It's just making sure that teammate just bring home some points. Just having a look at the position changes. So Tyler's actually dropped 2 positions. Calix is probably the biggest winner. He's up 5, but he just picked up a 3-second penalty, so that'll probably drop him down a few spots by the end of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this will definitely be a bit of a hassle for the stewards above anything else, because we're definitely going to see a lot of these drivers starting to report in some type of case file about how they've got an undeserved penalty. The white lines were too strict, or something wasn't deserved for whatever the reason may be. And I think by the end of the week, when we have these reports out and the changes of positions are settled and they're finalized, we're going to see rather a big change in position for a lot of these drivers, or nothing at all, because there's just not much the stewards can really do about it. Aiden Riziums, by the way, P5 going up to P4 are fantastic, and just as I guess the point I was making before about momentum, you get a better exit out of a corner, and as long as you're close enough in that maybe 3 to 2/10 range, you're pretty much practically easing up on a move quite easily. And Aiden Rizium's also taking fastest lap in the Haas at 1:23.180, so we'll be happy with that one, and clearly has a little bit of pace on his side in these wetter conditions, so still having a little bit of pressure from behind by the Alpine of Riz WRC, but he's clearly going to start to pull away here, and he's got great car control, almost snapping on the wheel there, but doesn't seem to be too uncomfortable in that car.
Yeah, and I can see my second driver for Ferrari has joined, so he'll miss out on this race, but he'll be in the quali and the feature race. That's where all the points are. So great to see Cam back in. Just about the comment before about the track limits, I haven't seen anyone get track limit penalties before by crossing the line by themselves, unless they've been pushed off track. But that's one for the stewards. I do know Tier 2 stewards have got a very, very busy time ahead of them. There are lots of reports, so hopefully the Tier 1 drivers can keep it clean. Tier 3 had 0 reports, so well done to Tier 3 again, showing the rest of us how it's done.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and the point still stands. It really comes down to just the difference in skill, but also just stuff like awareness, car control, and stuff like that kind of adds up in conservation as well. How well you're able to save your tires and fuel on a longer stint, and that's more for race conditions. But Tier 1, you're expected to be a more competitive and overall better driver on all of those fronts when it comes to awareness, when it comes to just your overall pace, how fast you are, how you're able to conserve your tires and whatnot. And I think Tier 3 actually showed slightly more of that than maybe what Tier 2 did.
Yeah, I was just sitting on with Sawsity. He tried to make a move. I think it was side by side with K5. He dropped the position, but he was looking good as well. There's a little bit of a train there from P8 down. Might jump on with Riz. Riz is right up the behind of the two Rizzes. So we've got Aiden and then Riz WRC. I think Aiden's probably got the pace, but I know Webbsy's just put in a couple of faster laps, but it looks like he's dropped down to 2 seconds again. So at the moment, looks like Meowsy's got it comfortably.
I think that's another thing as well that has kind of fallen into the wind a little bit. Last round, Aiden actually picked up the race win at the Netherlands for Tier 1, and I think it was something that kind of needed to be done, or at least something he was kind of hoping to be achieved at least at one point in this season. You know, he's a very competitive driver, and another driver that's shown that consistency. Anyone normally in that top 10 is able to show that consistency quite easily, and there's prime examples normally round after round that you can kind of highlight and use to prove your point. And I think Aiden, he's done well. Obviously, he picked up the win last time, and he's only, 4 points off Tyler FF in the Aston Martin. And to be honest, I expected, especially this season, for Tyler FF to be a bit more closer towards that top 3. But I guess in similar cases to how we've spoken before, I mean, certain drivers, it's just not been their season this time.
Yeah, I think Broseff's been a little bit unlucky with his pickings, but with his driver pickings. But I think he's got it good at the moment, and he's crawling back up. He's saying in the chat he's going to be fighting towards the end of the season. I think that's true, especially Tier 2. He's got a great lineup there with Scotty and Blurs, so they're close to my tail, trying to get me in the championship. But yeah, let's see. So we're heading to the last lap. Oh, no, second last lap.
No, penultimate. Lap 10 of 11. We are currently on the penultimate. Race difference in terms of the lead. Webbsy in P2 compared to McJammy Dodge in P1, 2.4 seconds. So McJammy Dodge well and truly controlling this race, and that clean air has definitely been a helping hand. It's definitely started to dry up a little bit, but I looked at my weather forecast for the upcoming session. That would be the qualifying session, and it says there's going to be more rain on the horizon, so we'll have to wait and see how that will change and if it will dry up more than it does say it's going to rain. Yusuf Goat only 9/10 off Webbsy. I mean, he seems to be starting to crawl in that gap a little bit, so maybe VCarb on that final lap, if he can just get a bit closer by the time we reach DRS, we could have a nice little overtake for P2. We'll have to wait and see. They're only approaching up to the top of the hill at the chicane, and a little further back we can see the two Rizzers still kind of battling away with one another and still kind of controlling their delta and their gap to one another, so they can get a good opening on the final lap. I'm sure Alpine will only overtake once that DRS and that rear wing opens, allowing him for a nice slipstream and tow going into turn 1. But no, we're coming to the end of this race now, and it's been very controlled. It's been smooth. It's been one of those races where, you know, penalties have well and truly come around, but in terms of incidents on circuit, it's been pretty much nothing, and just racing at its finest. Either way, lap 11 of 11, and right now nearly 3 seconds is the deficit to Ferrari to McLaren, and seems like VCarb and P3's covering it off. And yeah, I think the only real battle we can see at the moment is going to be between these two Rizzers in P4 and P5, but I think this is going to be a pretty easy and cruisy way home for the Ferrari of McJammy Dodge.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx him, but we have seen some drivers pick up track limit penalties on the last few corners, so anything can happen at the moment.
He's safe practically.
Oh, there he is. He's just clicked over the 3 second mark, so he can afford it right now. But yeah, anything can happen. So you just got to keep pushing to the finish line. And having said that, Tyler picks up a 3 second penalty. So I was just going to say a couple of drivers will move up positions. The second Riz will move up if he doesn't pick up a penalty. But at the moment, yeah, it's looking pretty good for the front runners. I think it's going to be a 1, 2, 3. McDamie, George, Webbsy, and Yusuf. So, yep.
Well, coming around the final corner here in Imola, here in the sprint race as well, it is the Scuderia's backyard, as they put it, and the Tifosi will just be as delighted as they were for Charles Leclerc at Monza. It is McJammy Dodge who picks up the win. Webbsy will come home in P2, and the championship contenders still separated by practically nothing. It is Yusuf Goat in P3 for the VCarb team, and another podium on the board for him. Riz WRC just missing out on that. It was a 3.8 second deficit by the end of it, but in terms of positions, he just missed out, and close deficits, but whatever the case may be. It is P4 on the board for the Alpine as it continues to kind of tick along there. Finn's, you know what, Finn's season is kind of started to fall back on him as the rounds have kind of ticked along. Obviously, if we see his championship position, he's been in P3. He picked up 2 wins right at the very start, and he's had 1 P3. He's had plenty of top 5s, but, you know, the Williams has finished in P8 and maybe less confident in the wet conditions than he would in the dry. But I don't know, Finn's just hasn't had that second part of the season that he was probably hoping for. Obviously, another 10 rounds remaining, so there's any opportunity for him to come back on this one. And obviously, the Aston Martin of Farmer Sam with a few penalties to his name, and he's kind of sliding around the final couple of corners into the gravel. But eventually, he will come across that timing line and finish in P18.
Yeah, it's a bit of momentum. It's also some tracks, you know. I know with a couple of leagues, I start off with a few tracks that I really like, and then all of a sudden they throw in Baku and things like that, which are just absolutely horrible. So, you know, it's a long season. We've tried to mix it up, and we'll see how we go. So, let's just go through the results. So, Miauzi, Websy, Yusuf, and Riz, none of them with penalties, followed by Aiden, Apollo, Tyler, Finn, Sir Joshi, K5, Saucy, Mr. Cookars, Bowser, Bownar, KLX, Checkered, Liquid Jake, Little Sheldon, Farmer Sam, and Aussie 2 Goat. I might just go through the race director as well.
Yeah. And, you know, as I said before, Yusuf will really appreciate this, knowing that he's really starting to close down that gap a bit more on Finn's. 6 points to his name compared to only 1 point for Finn's. And, you know, that Williams, he's grasping onto P3 at the moment. He's not even a large deficit away from Miauzi. It's actually Miauzi who's further away from Websy at the moment. You know, but a mixture of him missing races and maybe probably not the qualifying positions that he would have wanted, and incidents that may have occurred on circuit. You know, that Ferrari has definitely got the pace and he's competitive, just a few mistakes here and there. But yeah, Yusuf is definitely starting to challenge for that P3 position.
Yeah, I think with Miauzi, he's everyone keeps calling him a quality merchant. He's definitely fast in the one lap. So I think we've seen today, if he can start at the front and have a clear air in front of him, it's going to be really hard to catch him. But yeah, like I said before, Websy just needs to really just bring home points. He's got a 50-something point lead now, so even if he finishes P2, 3, it'd probably be good enough, right? So when you've got that lead, you really don't want to do anything stupid. You just want to bring home some points.
You know, there have been certain situations where, you know, Websy hasn't had his race on that side and mistakes have been made. I think Spa is a perfect example of exactly that. You know, just had a mistake on the strategy side. You know, he had damage, so he needed to come into the pit quite early on in the race, and he just couldn't find the pace later on. If that was simply because his, you know, mentality had changed, he was potentially just angry with how his race had gone, or whatever the case may be. But or it could have been just strategic wise. You know, tires were degrading at a higher rate later into the race, but whatever the case may be, you know, that there have been mistakes that Websy has made. There's been mistakes that obviously Miauzi has made, and to be honest, there's been mistakes from every driver at least at one point. Some are more severe than others, and it's just how you're able to overcome that mistake or mistakes and try and make the most of it. And I think Websy's done a perfect job of that, because even with those, you know, certain points where maybe mistakes were made or where he doesn't finish in a position that he normally would, he's able to come back for the next Grand Prix and do exactly that and finish in a position he would want to finish in, if that's a win or podium or P2 or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I'm in a similar position to Websy at the moment in the Tier 2 championship, so happy to take any tips from him on how to bring it home.
Yeah. I must be honest, by the way, obviously it's only my second day on PS5, but no one really knows the difference in graphics until you actually make the switch, and my god, it's so smooth. It is incredible to look at.
Yeah, I upgraded my TV recently too, so I've got a nice 4K TV, HDR, nice. And it's a big step up as well. So we can.
That's what I'm missing.
You know, the game, whilst it's full of bugs, it does look pretty though. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm missing. I've got the next gen console, but I'm still on a TV that's only 1080p with no HDR. So I've been able to get a nice upgrade on the frame rate and the hertz, and some of the colors as well, and how lighting is shown. But just if I can get HDR and something like 4K like your TV, then we're really in the right graphic or graphical part of gaming, let's say. But Apollo Pepsi's been kind of cruising along here on his lap. He's not the first one out on circuit. I believe GLX Cam was another driver who
Nice.
is actually just getting going on his fast lap. But purple in the first sector for the Red Bull driver, so not too bad on Apollo's side, but a little bit of a noise on your side of the comms box. So what are you seeing on your side?
Yeah, I was just going to say, there's a Ferrari, I think, who's had a little bit of was it? I think it was Cam who may have just had a little bit of an off. Looks like he's just warming up his tyres a little bit there. So I don't think and his ERS is off. So I think he's just warming up his tyres, just having a little bit of fun out there.
Yeah, and you kind of need to do that with the intermediates as well, realistically. They're freezing cold tyres, and when you're in cool conditions, having that opportunity to put them in a slightly warmer environment, if that's doing something silly like a donut, or just almost doing a bit more of a power drift around a corner, just allowing yourself to get it into the right temp range. And to be fair, this is the one good thing about an intermediate tyres. They do last quite a while, and if that is due to their tread or whatever the case may be, but they just stay in their tyre temp window for a long period of time, and they just kind of stay there without going too low or too high, as long as you keep that same type of pattern each and every lap.
Yeah, I'm going to jump on with my driver Cam. So let's see how he goes. Just a reminder: 1:20.7 was the quali time for the sprint qualifying. So they've still got a while to go to get that timed. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be raining for this entire session, I think. And Cam's just cut the corner there a little bit and invalidated, so he's just backed out. Charge up the tire, charge up the battery, and go for it again.
Yeah, just currently on board with checkered flags, sliding around the second last corner, but now getting the throttle down out of the exit of turn number 18, or actually 19, as that little kink that you see down the pit straight actually counts as a corner, and that's going to be a 1:23.501. So he's just missing out on P1 by roughly 0.2 of a second, or just under that, compared to Sorsady in the Haas. So no, the Haas has done a good job so far. However, as we said in sprint qualifying, it was a 1:20.7, did you say? So
I think it was a 1:20.7. So yeah, I think it might have dried up a little bit towards the end of that sprint quali, but yeah, they've still got a while to go.
Yeah, it's definitely a little damper than it was in SQ, and obviously no shock there. McJammy Dodge finding the pace and time here at Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, and that is a lovely time to set down earlier on in a qualifying session at least. It's obviously nothing that we have already not seen, but it's more specifically just a fast time in this period of time in qualifying. So a 1:22.637, I'm sure we're only going to see faster times from then, and obviously that 20.7 set down by McJammy Dodge himself. So if anyone's really going to find improvements against that 20.7, it may be him.
Yeah, we've got some drivers sitting in the garage with some soft tyres on, so I'm not sure if they think it's going to stop raining. Actually, I'm looking at the screen now; it doesn't look like it's raining at all. So I think it's just stopped.
I was about to mention, I'm looking on my screen here, and that rain is not looking very rainy anymore. It looks like it stopped dripping, and it's more just a slightly damp circuit, but it is drying up quite quickly, and the sun is starting to show its rays of light onto the tarmac here, so there could be a good opportunity for these slick compound tyres to come out.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any spray whatsoever. There's a tiny little bit. So I think there's 11 minutes to go. I think this is going to dry up now. So anyone out there now with the inters are just really just having a little bit of a play, getting their eye into the track, and then they'll throw in a set of softs and take it to the race. Just sitting on with Cam is like I said, I think he's having a little bit of fun there with his inters, but probably going to come in and put on a set of softs.
Yeah, no, Farm Sam in the Aston Martin, just out of the exit of what was turn 7, 8, and then eventually 9. He then goes downhill in terms of elevation. Then you want to carry as much speed into the very quick right-hander, going into turns 11, 12, and 13. Then you go up towards the top of the hill into the chicane at turns 14 and 15. Then you get your DRS detection zone, just at this little kink here. So right there, just before the bridge, there's your detection zone. And then obviously going into it, if you are close enough in a race scenario, then DRS will be active. However, a little bit too close on the outside and has invalidated, unfortunately. And if we go right up to the top, we obviously spoke about how Checkered Flag, you know, he's a little slower compared to his teammate. He doesn't have just as much consistency, but I'll tell you what, that is a fast lap time to set down with 9 minutes 40 on the clock, a 1:21.850. Now, it can be, you know, an exception with the fact that, you know, this circuit is rapidly getting quicker as time goes on, but that is an incredible lap time, which is then quickly beaten out by the Ferrari.
Yeah, it's definitely just looking at some of these drivers that are on a push lap. They are improving, but like I said, it is drying. They've got 9 minutes to go. They're just going to, I think, sit it out for the last few minutes, put on a set of softs, and you'll see those times drop for sure. I think the quali times for yesterday were around the 1:14, if I'm not mistaken. I need to double check that. Wow. So, yeah.
Yeah, so quite literally slick compound times, quite towards the end when there was an opportunity to get on those slicks and it was dry enough. Clearly for the people who are still on the intermediates here, because looking at the tyres, there's obviously a lot of people in the pit lanes who start to make that switch over. And for anyone that isn't aware, we are on the C3s, 4s and 5s, the softest in the Pirelli range. And the first person who's actually going to be a little experimental guinea pig for these drivers is going to be Lil Sheldon, who is the first person to go on a set of these C5s and take us around a lap of Imola. So that's going to be an intriguing one. But for example, Liquid Jake in the Williams still on those intermediates, but he is sliding around now. So I think it is starting to reach that crossover point. The sun is out and a bit more light and definitely a bit more heat is starting to find itself onto the circuit. But I think there's still maybe a few little damp bits on a few different corners, but it is definitely in the favor of the soft compound tires now.
Yeah, it's showing that he's done a purple first sector, but that means nothing because this game doesn't understand what that means. So just trying to have a look.
Actually check if it's purple.
Yeah, just checking my telemetry here, but I'm not seeing the sector times. But look, I think even if it's a poor lap, as long as he doesn't invalidate, he'll beat that time. Yeah, I did confirm as a 1:14.2 and a 1:14.5. In both quali sessions yesterday, so we expect these guys probably even bring it down to the 1:13s if possible.
Yeah, no, Lil Sheldon, only with personal improvements. It was a green first and a green second sector, but he's definitely going to find himself much higher up in terms of timings compared to where he was before. But a little bit of a kick on the rear there, just getting the throttle down slightly early, not so smooth on it, but it is P6 on the board at 24.063, and not exactly going to be pole times being set down here, but that McLaren still finding good improvements compared to what it was previously. Liquid Jake actually taking the purple first sector on the set of those intermediates. I mean, realistically, those tyres shouldn't be where they are, but they are. Wow, a 1:21.231, and even on the treaded tyres, he's still finding. I mean, that's not just an improvement, that's an incredible amount of time to find. And the Williams, even on the set of two-lap-old intermediates, is now set down a 21.231, and he's only roughly a tenth off Mick Jamie Dodge. He's actually only 54 milliseconds off the Ferrari. So that's also another thing to note as well. So maybe those intermediates aren't exactly a complete and utter waste just yet.
Yeah, we'll have a look. I think DRS is enabled now, so that shows you, with that wing open, Apollo Pepsi's just going through turn 1 now. We did get the wing open, so this will probably be a proper representative dry time. But I think, like I said, I think it will be up to the guy who's out there right at the end, who can time it properly, because this track's just going to get better and better with time.
Yeah, K5M5 just going purple in the first sector. It's then quickly beaten out by Websy, but now the first fastest purple sector is now Yusuf Goat. So we've got a lot of drivers currently pushing along. I'm currently on board with K5M5. He's going to be the first of many to cross the timing line. So the Alpine going into the last couple of corners and eventually into the final corner. Avoid the sausage curbs where your floor would eventually start to cause a bit of friction with it and cause instability. It's going to be a 19.766, and we've now broken the 20s. Not too shocking there, but let's go over to Yusuf Goat in the V-Carb, currently in P10, purple in the first, and now purple in the second at 25.015 and a 26.809, and going into the final couple of corners, he's going to get a very weak little slipstream and toe from the McLaren, and I believe that's Websy who's just a little further ahead, and Websy does go up to P1 and 18.010, but right behind him, and that V-Carb, as I mentioned, getting a very weak slipstream and toe, manages to pick up a 17.611, an incredible improvement. Apollo Pepsi gets into the top three with an 18.568, and this is where we see rapid improvements in terms of time, and this is where we see when it's a green, because it is, there's no rubber laid out, so it's a green circuit, it's dry, we're on the slicks, so practically every single lap you do will be an improvement, as long as you have the battery on your side, and as long as you have the DRS with maybe a slight toe. Yeah, it's a huge opening for a driver.
I saw checkered flag dropped out, so I'm just trying to see if I can invite him again, but wonderful EA and the invitation system is horrible, so let's see if I can do that through PS.
And while we do that in the background, a few more drivers are actually going once again. Yusuf Goat stuck on a new set of the soft compound tyres, and so did Websy. Yusuf invalidating, but Websy's still going strong here and entering into the final couple of corners. He is really extracting everything, going as wide as possible into every curb, but instead of continuing, he's decided to call it quits, come back into the pit lane. So does Yusuf Goat, and they're most likely going to come out for one final push on what is a very green circuit with no rubber laid out to do one final push lap and potentially snatch away that pole position from the other driver. Let's not forget about McJammy Dodge. He's still on a new set of soft compound tyres, the C5s. He's on an out lap, 3 minutes 20 on the clock. Even if Ferrari is going to be maybe doing a fast lap slightly earlier compared to a lot of drivers, he's going to be in practically no traffic. And Sir Joshi, I was on board with him, and those purple sectors kind of came in the very final sector. It's a 1:16.456, and the Sauber will be happy with that one, but I think it's time to go on board with the Ferrari of McJammy Dodge, because I think we're about to see the chef cook in the kitchen.
Yeah, it's a little bit early for him, so I think he just wants to have a clear track. We'll see what he can do. I'm not sure if he's going to have enough time to do a double lap, but let's see what he can do by himself out there. Let's keep it nice and clean.
Really extracting.
2.3 seconds up already.
Oh, wow. Look at him. He's going so wide on the curbs. He is really trying to make absolutely the maximum of what this circuit has to offer. Any little tiny increment that is counted as track limits, he is making sure to use it. Oh. And the teammate to Sir Joshi as well, going up into P1 for provisional pole. So that's a sneaky one to go into. But yeah, that Ferrari is absolutely blisteringly quick at the moment.
Yeah, he threw it into that chicane. I don't know how he did it and maintained it. That Ferrari's is built very well. Heading into the last few corners now, making sure to keep it between the white lines.
This is incredible.
And he does a 1:14.2. It's pretty much yesterday's quali time. So it's probably a little bit more in that. He's got 1 minute 40. I'm not sure if he's going to push and recharge his battery, go for another lap, but let's see what he can do. Who's the next person to sort of cross the line?
Looks to be Tyler FF in the Aston Martin. Also looking at Aussie 2K Goat, but it will be the Aston Martin. And, I mean, this is what the...
Oh, they have dropped JP. Tyler's heading through. There's lots of cars on the track at the moment. Everyone wants to be the last person to cross the line here. Let's see. Oh, no, I don't know how he stayed within the lines there. Tyler's about to come through, and he does a 1:15.1. It's good enough for P2. I think Aussie was the next person to cross the line. maybe not. Checkered's on an outlap. Oh, the times are coming in quick and fast now. I think McDermott Dodge is going to set another lap here. He's going to have enough time to do it. So who will be the last person to cross the line? I think Cam is going to be another person. We have a... Aussie is on a... he's just about to start his lap. Even when he starts at KLX. Sorry guys, there's so many people crossing the line. There's lights flashing here. We've got 2 Hasses, McLarens, Websy 113.9. As I said, I think the 113s were going to happen. We may just sit on with Meowsy just to see what he can do. He's up by 1.192. It's still not going to be enough for pole position. Let's see who's next to cross the line. Liquid Jake. Tyler's coming in. Polo Pepsi, what can he do? It doesn't look like he improves. I think Cam's the next one to... Oh, no. McJammy, what can he do? He did improve, but he did not get pole. Who else have we got? Sorry, there's so many cars coming through. Can anyone... Aiden. Let's see if Aiden is on a lap. No, he's not improving. I think that's about it. That's all she wrote. So I think we've got Websy P1, McDammy Dodge in P2, Aiden P3, followed by Finn's Riz, Yusuf Checkered, 2 RBs right next to each other, side by side. Cool Cars, Tyler, Boner in P10. I think Boner raced yesterday in Tier 2. I think he's done better in Tier 1 than he did in Tier 2. So let's just have a look here. So Boner P10, Little Sheldon 11, Aussie, Sir Joshy, KLX, Polo Pepsi, K5, Liquid Jake, Sawsity, Cam, and Farmer Sam. I think Cam and Sawsity and Liquid Jake probably invalidated on their last laps on the softs, so they'll be starting at the back of the grid. Farmer Sam not setting a time. All right, so we're going to go straight into the feature race. No formation lap as usual. We'll go straight into it. And it is raining. I think the conditions, if I'm not mistaken, was rain at the start with it clearing throughout the race. So forecast tells me at the moment there's a 44% chance of rain. So it should probably ease off, one would imagine, probably towards the middle of the race. So these drivers just need to keep that in mind. I think the Inters tyres, they'll put those on in these conditions and keep them on until it dries out. But who will pounce first for the dry tyres, we will see. All right, so not much of a setup here for these guys, really just changing their fuel loads. Want to make sure they're checking, they're selecting their inters, but looks like they're okay. We've got 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and we are off. Websy has a good start. Meowsy's also got a good start, but I think Websy's just in front. Oh, there's a Ferrari on the grass. Heading into the first corner, side by side. Oh, there's a little bit of contact, and Meowsy's had to go onto the sausage curb. He maintains P2. Aiden is right up his behind. Looks clean so far. Just as I said that, there has been some contact, and I think the Ferrari of GLX has spun. Websy maintains the lead. Look, there's some cars behind. I think it's Salisbury. There's some carbon on the road there as well. Whose carbon fiber's that? I think it's Salisbury's right end plate is missing. Yeah, Ferrari in the mud, loading rifle, that's right. Little Sheldon has left. Let me see if I can send Little Sheldon an invite. Sorry, guys. You know, you definitely want to see me inviting people rather than the race. What's his name? I'll try through here. If I don't, can't help you. There we go. Back to the race. Let's bring up some position changes. We will not show telemetry. Full track is enabled. All right, front runners, P1, 2, 3, no position change. Riz is up 1, Fins is down 1, Bona has made up 3 positions, Polo Pepsi up 3, K5, M5 up 4, Liquid Jake up 4. Also got Cam in the pits. Looks like he needs a new front wing. It's unfortunate for Cam. It's a long race. Let's hope for a safety car for the other Ferrari driver. Goat seems to be the closest battle at the moment, right up the behind of Fins. It's going to be a little bit of a train, I think. It's going to be really hard to overtake in these conditions, especially without DRS. These guys will probably just take it easy until the rain starts to fall off, and then look for that opportunity to put the dry tyres on. JP, you back with us?
Right, I'm finally back again, yeah, and the Ferrari of McJammy Dodge still applying the pressure towards the McLaren lap 3 of 32, and the Scuderia still prancing along here. That pole position snatched away pretty quickly by Websy now as he is in P1, but that McLaren needing to defend. I mean, it's pretty clear by this point that we've seen in both sprint qualifying, in sprint race itself, and now in qualifying, McJammy Dodge is better in these intermediate conditions, but it's not about how fast you can be around a circuit. If you can conserve those tires and fuel and still find as much pace as possible while still just managing things to the best of your ability, then that is what separates someone who's fast and who can win a race, and Websy is doing a fantastic job of that. Right now, Aiden Rizium's currently in P3, 5/10 off McJammy Dodge, but he's not doing a bad job of just keeping his distance and being aware if he gets a little bit too close, then a lot of that hot, dirty air is going to starting to affect the grooves in his intermediates, and may also just affect the pace later on.
Yeah, just need to keep it consistent, especially in these tricky conditions. Stay within the white lines, not have any track limits, and see if they can build a gap from the guys behind. They've currently got a 1.5 second gap to Riz WRC in P4, so it's 1.6 at the moment. So just building that little gap at the moment, these front runners.
And Riz WRC in the Alpine. Once again, right behind Aiden Rizium, so the two Rizzes are back to back, and wow, I just nearly watched a V-Carb kill himself.
Yeah.
And did we just watch a Kit kill himself? No, nearly. However, that V-Carb had incredible car control. He practically snapped sideways, and now going the correct direction again, making his way up towards turn 9. So Checkered Flag doing a fantastic job there. Only 2 positions lower compared to Yusuf Goat, but compared to what we saw earlier on in qualifying, obviously it was rapidly improving in terms of the tyres and the overall circuit condition. But, you know, Yusuf Goat now down in P6, and he'll be hoping to just keep that consistency, make sure he keeps it on circuit, avoids any type of track warnings, and potentially make a few moves against people like Finns and Riz WRC, because like I said, he's hunting down this P3 position in the championship, and he can well and truly do it today. But Finns is ahead of him by 1 position, and actually whoever finishes ahead of the other will pretty much change that P3 position in the championship.
Yeah, we've got some people that have dropped, but unfortunately, Sheldon, he can't invite you because he's driving.
Well, right now it is the Ferrari of McJammy Dodge, the 2 championship contenders, as it has been put. Practically, I wouldn't even say round 1, but it was more going into maybe round 2 or round 3. That is when we, at that point, even earlier on in the championship, you know, we had solidified the fact that, you know, these two, Websy and McJammy Dodge, were going to go back and back, keep going until the calendar was complete to a crown championship, and or champion, sorry, and they've done an extraordinary job so far here on round 9 with an additional 10 rounds remaining. You know, it has been exactly that statement every single round we have gone racing. It is going to be McJammy Dodge up against Websy, and Websy up against McJammy Dodge, and Websy obviously with a very clear point advantage, and we've already explained how if he stays near towards that pointy end, it's going to be in McLaren's favour quite easily. But the Ferrari still will be tempting and hoping for an opportunity for McLaren to make mistakes, so that window does open up. But even if Websy, and I calculated this just before, were to finish for P2 for the remainder of the season, and McJammy Dodge was to take fastest lap and the win each round, it would still not be enough for, well, it still just wouldn't be enough to beat Websy out in the championship.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? That's the important thing. It's just to be there at the front, not really fighting for the win. If you know, if it means conceding P1 for P2, hey, why not, right? If you're still going to win the championship, you just need to keep it clean and bring it home. So these guys are really pulling away from P4. They've already built a 2.8 second lead. So yeah, they're just maintaining that. They've got the pace just to pull away from the guys in front.
Yeah. And Lewis Sheldon, right near towards the end of the field in the McLaren, obviously reserve driver for this season. Actually, sorry, not a. What is he? Yes, he is. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong username. But no, Lewis Sheldon, he's done well in lower tiers, but when you step up to the big guns of tier 1, you know, you need to give it your absolute all, and it's not an easy challenge. So I think even for a driver who's in P19 and 2.4 seconds off the next closest driver to you, I'd almost argue he's doing a good job, because it is so hard and so tense out there. You know, every single driver out on that circuit is practically in a dead silent environment, and the only information they want to be hearing is technical and probably helpful information about other drivers that surround them, and that's about it. They want it to be practically as little talking as possible, so they can just put their head down and focus to the absolute limit. And
do you want to?
You know, we've seen it on a few.
If you have a second, do you want to see if you can invite Little Sheldon? I tried to invite him, but he can't join with my invite. Maybe you'll have a bit more success with that. Unfortunately, Pepsi's the host, and he's racing, so he's not going to be able to send him an invite.
Yeah, hang on, let me...
There you go.
Little Sheldon. There you go, invited.
And if you've got a chance, maybe Aussie as well, Aussie 2K Goat. I saw he disconnected. I'm not sure if he's back or not. Whilst you're there. This game likes to just throw people out and then not let them join again.
Oh yeah, no, talk to me about it, man. It has been very fun. It's classic EA at this point.
Yeah, Little Sheldon, sorry man, I don't know. We can't restart for one person. It's got to be 25% of the lobby, unfortunately. So
yeah, no, Sheldon, I've
mate.
invited you twice, by the way. So if you're not getting it, there's not much I can really do on my side. Aussie 2K Goat, I don't actually know if I have him added on EA, so I'm going through it, but I don't think I have him, unfortunately.
Yeah, let me just check if he's still in AI.
Anyway, Aiden Rizium's only 2.5 tenths off McJammy Dodge for the time being. Ferrari in P2, but actually everyone near towards the very front, so Websy and McJammy Dodge, have actually fallen back a little bit. And you may go, well, how can they fall back if they're still going forward? Well, it's just overall in terms of the pace they have on circuit. You know, Websy is obviously out in front, and he's continuing to try and pull away from McJammy Dodge, but both the Ferrari and McLaren are clearly just a little bit slower than what Aiden Rizium's is, and he's been able to close down that gap. And so maybe it's not the two drivers ahead falling back, maybe it's the Haas pushing forward, but whatever the case may be and however you may see it, that Haas is getting dangerously close to a nice, clean and smooth overtake being made at some point around this historic and incredible circuit, which I did unfortunately see the death of Ayrton Senna, but lives on with his name on a nice statue and a nice little memorial for him. And the Haas driver still well and truly closing down that gap to the Ferrari in P2.
Yeah, it's one thing to catch, it's another thing to pass, right? So I think at the moment these guys are just holding it steady. Let's see if Aiden's going to push for it. Oh, he's gone. He's gone a little bit to the right, or the left there, so I'm not sure if he's trying to warm up his, cool down his tyres a bit.
And I'll tell you what, something else that's just happened, and I literally watched the very last spec appear on my screen. It stopped raining. Oh, Ferrari nearly losing the rear end of the car there. Haas looking for an opening. Couldn't get it done. He searched up the inside, but he was just a few tenths still too far back. But yeah, no, it stopped raining. There is no more specks in the sky for us to identify, and it's definitely not as damp as it was before. It's too damp for slick compound tires. That's what I will say. It looks too damp, but it's also looking very green, and once it is starting to dry out completely and it's not so, let's say, reflecty, then there could be a really good opportunity for these slick compound tires to come through and lay down some rubber, because as we saw in qualifying previously, it's a green circuit, so all the rubber that gets laid down will be done in that single session of the race, and it just means we're going to get faster and faster and faster and faster and faster.
Yeah, the slicks are not the tyres. Liquid Jake has just come out of the pits, and he's binned it, and he's hit the wall, and he's damaged his wing, so he will he'll be wishing he stayed out on the Inters.
I've got a report for you as well. It's not the only driver who's made a mistake on those slicks. So on the medium compound tyres, Farmer Sam actually went spinning round as well.
Yeah, we've got some front runners in.
Like I said,
we've got drivers coming in. Lots of drivers coming in. Pit lane penalties. So Aiden's the first.
No, it might be slick time. I don't know. It still seems a little damp, but if they feel confident. You know, if anyone's going to have good car control, it's going to be the front runners. But, I mean, like we just saw with Farmer Sam and Liquid Jake, they come out of the pit lane, they immediately spin if that was just getting a little too overzealous on the throttle.
Yeah, let's sit on with Aiden and see what he can do.
I don't know, they're all coming out on the hard compound tyres.
Yeah, the hards will take it to the end. There's another yellow. That's GLX getting lapped. But yeah, usually it's when the DRS enabled sign comes up. That's the ideal time. It's definitely is clearing up, but yeah, Aiden is all over the place. So I don't think it's time yet for the Inters, for the slicks. The Inters are the tyre to be on. Let's sit on the front and see if these guys are going to pit or not. I would stay out personally, and it looks like Meowsy is coming in. Websy's just done a fastest lap on those tyres as well. So looks like the Ferrari strategists are asking the Ferrari driver to come in. Box. It puts on a set of hards. So let's have a look at the time difference. So it looks like the drivers are all coming in. So I think Meowsy's going to be in P3. He is currently... what's the time difference at the moment? It says about 18.5 seconds behind checkered flag. So let's see if he closes that gap or it gets extended. Tyres are on the screen at the moment. So P1, 2, 14 and 19 have decided to stay out on those inters. Little Sheldon is under AI, so the AI believes that the inters are the tyres of choice at the moment. And it looks like Meowsy is closing. It was an 18.5 second gap. It's 18.2, so now 18, no, still 18.2. So Websy is coming in. We've got a car who has, looks like it's spun, lost his wing, so that's fins on the brand new set of hards. So it really is probably the right tyre to be on, but it really is tricky. Let's see if Meowsy can make this move. He's heading down. I don't think he will. Will he? Oh, it's a safety car. It's a safety car that has... Oh, who comes out in front? No. Oh, I think this is going to be a glitch. This is going to be a glitch. Oh, this is... I think this is a... That was a problem for Meowsy. Meowsy did not... No. Oh, sorry. I am looking at the wrong car. So, no. He's come back in P2. Websy, I think that did save Websy from retaining P1. And Cam was able to overtake that safety car, so he will be able to unlap himself, which is great news for him. He's still on the inters. He'll come in and put on a set of tyres, but I might get done in the pit box. So let's see what happens there. All these drivers are now on slick tyres. Some drivers decided to go for meds. I honestly think that is the wrong choice. Those meds will only last about 12 laps until they fall off. So they could do a double med strategy, but I think the hard tyres will be able to do about 20 laps. I think I did about 19 or 20 of them yesterday. And it's probably the tyre of choice. We'll keep an eye on Cam. Let's see if he can come in and out before the safety car does get him. Oh, he's decided to do another lap. Might be a good choice there. I think that's actually a great choice. Little Sheldon has joined, so it's great news for him to come back in. We'll go through the penalties. So at the moment, we have checkered flag with 10 seconds of penalties. Riz with 3, Sir Joshy on 10, Farmer Sam on 6, Aussie on 15, Bona on 12, Cam on 3, and Liquid Jake on 3. Alright, safety car might be out for just a little bit longer. Got a few drivers out there that are trying to unlap themselves or get back to the lead pack, so I think the safety car will probably go around one more lap, but let's see how we go here. We'll go through position changes as well. Oh, Bona, 10-second penalty. I think he's probably come in to serve that, and he has picked up another one. Oh no, he's retired. He's decided to pit and quit. So that's one car down. First retirement of the day. So just looking through, checkered flag up 9, Apollo Pepsi up 9. Checkered flag up 4 positions, and Apollo Pepsi is up 9. So he's made the most moves of the day. KLX up 5, Salsy up 5, Farmer Sam up 5. Fins is probably the biggest loser there, down 13 positions. So that's not going to help him in his fight for the championship. All right, so we've got Cam in the pit box. Hopefully the safety car will not come in this lap, and it will allow Cam to catch up. Looks like the safety car will be out one more lap.
So what happened while I was gone that now has brought out the GT Black Series safety car?
Yeah, I didn't see an actual crash. It looked like Finn's binned it on the new hards, lost his wing, and Bert Mylander felt a bit lonely, so he decided to take the car out, and it was a safety car. So it actually has helped some of the back markers, people like Cam, who was lapped actually at one stage, so looks like he managed to lap himself under the safety car, and he's catching up now to the back of the pack, so that'll help him. Hopefully can make up some positions, but lots of penalties, lots of speed in the pits. I think some of the drivers came in to serve that, and Bona decided to throw in the towel as well. So that's the latest.
Well, that has occurred, and Webbsy's still out in front in P1, so nothing really changing near the very front end of the field. Same for McJamie Dodge following in close pursuit. Checkered Flags picked up a penalty in P3, and Aiden Rizium still staying in P4. Yusuf Goat is just a little bit closer now in the top 5, but apart from that, still staying practically the same. Well, apart from the rest of the field, the top 5 staying pretty much the same. Tyler FF still in P7. I mean, like I said, it's not really been his season, but it should be intriguing to see how he can maybe come back from this one. Looks like everyone's pretty much on a new set of tyres from what I'm looking at here, so should be intriguing. Anyone that's on like one lap set of hard compound tyres may get an advantage later on. And this could realistically be the final stop of the race. You know, they've had a couple of laps to kind of hold on to these tyres, so we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we've got one driver. I think a few drivers came in on the safety car. So we've got Farmer Sam on one lap old meds. They're not going to last to the end. So everyone else is on hards, which is a tyre of choice. Webbsy's maintaining his speed, so he's doing a great job there. Let's just go onto a different camera view. And he's taking it really slow all the way to the line, and he's off.
He's pulled the trigger. Yep. He got away with that one, and McJamie Dodge in P2, he's back by a certain margin there, 4/10, and Checkered Flag has not been tricked by his tomfoolery. 1.5 tenths, he may get an opportunity to send it down the inside, looked for it, but you do need to be inside roughly 1/10 of a second if you want an opening. Have a look at the V-carb, however. Is he going to go to the inside line? Yes, he will. Is he then going to go to a press going into it? He looked for it, but he couldn't get it done, so he stays where he is in P3, but he is really starting to apply the pressure. Oh, down the inside, he is going to stick up his nose, and will he get it done? Yes, he does. Throttle down, and it is practically even out of the exit of the next corner, and Ferrari will hold the outside line, but V-carb still holding on, and into the gravel trap he goes, and that has been a big issue from the V-carb driver. It was going so well until it all fell apart. So close, yet nose to car. Yeah. And it is now McJamie Dodge who holds on to P2 by pretty much the absolute skin of his teeth there. That was a very close incident for the two drivers, which ended up with Checkered Flag now down in P15.
Yeah, I didn't really see exactly what happened there. All I knew that was going side by side into that corner, and it's a very, very fast corner. So
he stuck a nose up. That's pretty much how you can put it.
Yeah, so it wasn't going to end well, but let's see how we go. So yeah, that's dropped Checkered Flag.
Yusuf Goat, the teammate to him, is getting a little bit close to Aiden, but couldn't close down it fully. He was practically touching the rear diffuser of the Haas going down the pit straight. He just lost out a little bit of time going into the corners. But no, it's very close margins and no shock for it. We're on safety car restart, and this top 5, even top 6 for that matter, are still practically right next to one another, and they do not want to leave anyone alone and just cause plenty of pressure for everyone. And Webbsy, he hasn't exactly had the opportunity to cool down and be coming. If you go on board with Webbsy and then look behind him, you will see that that Ferrari is not leaving him alone, and he wants to cause a few issues here and there and potentially open up the door for McJamie Dodge, and he is right there and he just can't fully get it done. But if he holds this type of deficit and yellow flag, and that's a Mercedes Aussie 2K Goat P17, little bit of a spin.
Ooh,
and it's Aston Martin as well did it again. Well, yeah, it realistically going up towards that elevation change, especially around that, I guess, rigid point, because of how...
Yes, sorry. Yep. I just wanted to throw some Italian in there.
You know what?
Yep.
It doesn't matter. You know why it doesn't matter? Because an Italian constructor's just taken the lead of the race, and that is McJamie Dodge, who now overtakes the McLaren of Websy on his 6-lap-old C3 hard compound tyres, and McLaren behind has nothing to defend for it. And now Aiden has a good opportunity to potentially come against the McLaren again. So a man who had a 3/10 deficit lead is now starting to look a little bit weaker. However, it isn't like McJamie Dodge is pulling away at any faster rate. I mean, realistically, we're about to see a very nice back and forth, and this safety car just igniting some fierce rivalries on the circuit, as we have seen before. Two championship leaders going neck and neck, back to back, around every single part of this circuit, and Aiden just trying to join in the fun. Obviously, we saw him pick up a win in the Netherlands. It's not like he can't do it again. All he needs is some type of incident between these two, and it opens up the door fully for the American constructor. So I wouldn't count anyone out in this situation. Even Yusuf Goat, who definitely is conserving a lot more than the predecessors ahead of him.
He's got a great run.
It's a great run, and realistically, this could be in a very easy overtake. And I think it's just about where you want to.
Well.
Yeah, it's really just about how you want to position the car, and no actual changes being made, because it's all about positioning going into that first corner, and it can rather be make or break.
Yeah, this is great fun here. This is a great battle all the way down to P7.
I don't think the drivers are having much fun.
Oh, I reckon they're having fun. I think wouldn't mind seeing Aiden take the position away from Websy. You know, give McJamie a bit of a fighting chance in the championship. Good old sister team in the Haas there with the Ferrari engines. But look, I think it's not going to be that easy. Websy's probably just going to sit there and just sit in the DRS, build up his battery, just try to keep Aiden behind him, and same with don't discount Yusuf and Apollo, and KLX is in there as well. So this is a great restart after the safety car.
I don't know what Formula 1 drivers are like, but I know with me and GT3 racing and all the endurance racing that I specifically do, there's never any point in that race where I want to go, you know what, I like being pressurized by 2/10 behind, and there's always that fear factor that he's going to send it up the inside and I could potentially have my race ruined. Listen, drivers all have different point of views, and some definitely may prefer that pressure and that close, intense racing action. I prefer just lounging around 7 seconds ahead of the other driver. But you know what? Each to their own. It is exciting action, and as a commentator, we always love very close action on display.
Yeah, I think Riz has got a good run here as well. Look, these guys are the best of the best. They're really keeping it clean. And we've seen it all season, actually. These guys are really respectful of each other. We haven't seen any silly incidents. And they also represented us in a League Unity Challenge, most of these drivers as well. So, they all fired in each other here in Tier 1, and then bound together to take home the League Unity Challenge against PRL, and I can't remember the other league's name, but that was good.
Yeah. I mean, not only that as well, you have a few drivers who represented people in OFI as well, and if that was past or present, and obviously we have the upcoming OFI 6 event, so that should be another thing to look for. So OFI 5, whatever the case may be. It's an upcoming OFI event. It's going to be the individuals like we had with OFI 4, and I think it's going to be an incredible event on display for all of these drivers to kind of see what they can do, and I'm sure a lot of these drivers will be a part of that grid, so we'll have to wait and see. But obviously OFI is months away, and what is right now in the present time is overtaking, because Websy just made an incredible move around the outside and has retaken that lead of the race.
Yeah, I think Meowsy just thought the better of it, let him through, didn't want to fight into the corner.
I'll tell you what, that's getting a little bit too close for comfort is Yusuf Goat versus Aiden Rizium's. Bloody hell, a bit of bumping and scratching against the two side pods there, but they've kept it out of the barrier, and one has got ahead of the other, and Yusuf Goat now taking P3 onto the podium here, and Aiden he just seemed to be taking a step back, and when you have drivers right up your rear end, it is not a good idea for you to just kind of take a chill pill on it and has opened up the door for the V-Carb to make the move and potentially a little bit more aggression to potentially make a move against Webzy and McJammy Dodge. However, it's still a bit of a DRS train as well, and that's another thing we're not counting. And I mean, there's a DRS train all the way down to P7, but the Ferrari's going to take P1 here, and V-Carb once again just a little too far away.
Yeah, it's a bit hard for. I was in a similar position yesterday where I was in P3 and I just couldn't get past. It was just really, really tricky. So I think you're going to see P3 just sit behind, just build up the battery, find the right time, and P1 and P2 trade in positions, and the guys P4, 5, 6 looking to pick up the scraps if anything happens in front of them.
And right now it is Yusuf Goat still hunting down these top two, and this is the you could almost say the great part or the worst part about Formula One when it comes to DRS and slipstream and tow and how advanced the aerodynamics is nowadays. You know, you could argue that the fact that you can be in P1 and or you can be in P2 and another driver's in P1 and you can just rely on the slipstream and tow and the DRS to stay ahead of any attacking driver from behind, and you can see it as a disadvantage because it doesn't offer good enough racing, or you can see it as an advantage because, you know, they've gone to this point with aerodynamics are so advanced and so technical that you need to be right on the limit. You need to be right there with them if you want that opportunity to make a move. So there's two different, you know, pages, well, two different sides of the page, so it depends how you see it. But Yusuf Goat still in P3, Webzy still holding on to P2, and McJammy Dodge still holding on to P1. It's a big defense and attack at the moment, and they'll continue to go back and forth. But the midfield just being as exciting. Obviously, we saw Apollo Pepsi momentarily look to make a move, and throughout the field as well, even a little lower down, there's been plenty of moves throughout P13, 12, and 14. So, yeah, and Checkered Flag making that move up the inside there. So, yeah, plenty of action on display here at Imola. It's always been that way, and it always will be. It's fast-paced, it's full of action. It's just a shame that we only get that singular DRS detection zone.
Yeah, just sitting on with 11, 12, 13, 14 at the moment. They're fighting pretty hard as well. Just noticed Farmer Sam, he's up to P8 on those line lap old meds. I think he's made up a few spots after the safety car restart, but those meds will probably start to fall away from him in the next few laps. So I suspect he'll be vulnerable from those behind him.
No, he's keeping it together, and that's what's important. Obviously, he's on 9 lap old mediums, as you said. I've got some very nice information that people tried extracting from me, and they couldn't do it because they didn't have my discount code. But from what I see on the medium compound tires, you lose roughly 3.1% in terms of degradation per lap. So it really does start to show you how it kind of gets shaved off each and every single time you complete a lap going across that timing line. And in comparison to the hard compound tires, you lose roughly 1.5 to 2% each lap. So that is quite a big leap in terms of a difference between the hards and the mediums, and why so many drivers are preferring to go for the C3s and most likely not only a longer stint but their second stint and most likely their final stint. So yeah, it doesn't shock, I'm pretty sure, anyone in the slightest, and will definitely help the hard compound runners in the long run.
Yeah, I was just sitting on with Farmer Sam. I think Finn's is getting pretty close behind him, but I'm just sitting on with Apollo at the moment. This battle at the front is really getting spicy. It's really closing up. KLX seems to have dropped down a little bit, but yeah, Apollo, Pepsi, Aiden, they're all looking to pounce, I think. So let's sit on with Webzy, see if he makes the move. Looks like he will.
Outside. Oh, Yusuf is getting so close. It is really starting to build some tension, let's say. And realistically, Yusuf is just carrying Aiden with him. Only a tenth and a half off the V-Carb driver. I mean, realistically, in classic racing fashion, the more you fight and the more, I guess, tension you build, and depending on how close you are to another driver, the closer a driver behind becomes. So if McJammy, Dodge, and Webzy keep fighting, and, you know, they start to get closer and closer to one another, and they just can't seem to make a move, you know, stick against one another, then drivers behind will start to flock in like birds of prey and take it away from them. So it is going to be a very exciting and firework action-packed ending, I can only assume.
I'm just looking at my app here, and I thought it was a mistake, but it's telling me Websy's got front wing damage. It looks like he's been carrying it for a while, so must be fairly light for him to.
I need your app.
Yeah, must be fairly light for him to be continuing on, and I don't see any damage on his car, so don't know where he got that, or if it's an error.
Oh, here we go again.
Yep.
Tussling for position. Ferrari once again going for P1, but this is what I said. The more they fight, the more of an opportunity it becomes for Yusuf. And you know what? Aiden's going to take it back. Slight contact to the rear, though. And on board with the V-Carb. Here's what happened. So, outside line was the Haas driver. He goes to swoop around, but obviously the sausage curbs acts as almost like a barrier. You don't want to go over them, otherwise you're just going to find plenty of instability in your favor. Yusuf Goat holds the inside line, and pretty much it wasn't like he was forcing him off the circuit or anything, but the Haas tried going around the outside, there wasn't enough room, and he just nicked him on the rear end and into the gravel trap.
Yeah, it's one of those corners I really don't like. I always have a little bit of anxiety every time I go in there side by side because it seems like every time I'm side by side with someone, it ends in tears. So yeah, it looks like Webbsy's just picked up a 3 second, and KLX has picked up a 3 second as well. So that's going to hurt Webbsy if it means the drivers P1 and 3 keep it clean. So just displaying the penalties at the moment.
It's another point for us on the endurance racing side. We can go into turn 1 and turn 2 and know that we're not going to carry enough speed to cause damage to one another because we can. I mean, realistically, there's only 2 lines you can kind of go into it with. I guess that weight and speed. When it comes to GT3 cars and the amount of downforce we're able to carry, so there's a little bit more predictability on that side. But with F1 cars, there's so much downforce, it is very unpredictable.
Just displaying the penalties at the moment. So yeah, there's a bucket full of penalties from lots of drivers here, and that safety car did bring everyone together. So I think there's going to be lots of position changes heading into the heading into the final. So I can't calculate it now for you, but it is going to be spicy. I'd love to see how many penalties or track limits.
Mercedes in the barrier, by the way. KLX now falling down to P10, and he is well and truly overdoing that throttle, but good car control to keep it going in a straight line. A little bit of a burnout, but he loses out to Sorzady going into the chicane, so he's down to P11, and his tyres will quite literally are cooked. They are overheating, and he needs to cool them down, because otherwise going into the next couple of corners he's going to go spinning around all over again. So once they're back down in that window, I'm sure he'll just be controlling his own pace again.
Yeah, I did find both the meds and the hards towards the final stints, they were just horrible. They were sliding everywhere. So, a corner that you've taken for 12, 14 laps, you take it the same way, and all of a sudden you just understeer or oversteer. It's just really unpredictable. So, yeah, we just need to keep an eye on these drivers and see if they can...
I have something, by the way, and take this as you will, but... Normally at this point in a race, on lap 27 to 32, there's normally between maybe 2 drivers of who would, take the race win. Realistically, between these 4, and yes, there's penalties as well, and that needs to be taken into consideration, but I don't know who's winning this race. Like, I can't tell you if it's going to be Webbsy. I can't tell you if it's going to be McJamie. It could still be Yusuf. It could still be, Aiden. If anything were to happen contact-wise, he can come through. So it is quite literally the most unpredictable finish I have seen in quite a long time.
Yeah, and like I said before, these guys are really respecting each other, keeping it clean, mostly anyway. And I think just playing this DRS game until the end here. So, if I had a buck, I don't know who I'd put it on at the moment. No. Obviously, I think Webbsy and Mialzi have both really dominated, but Yusuf's looking strong as well, right? I reckon he's ready to pounce.
You know what? I don't know why I've had the telemetry off, because I can use it because I'm not streaming.
I've turned it off. I've turned it on as well. Sorry, I've turned it off. I had it on.
I was originally, not using it because I was planning to stream, and then EA decided to kick me in the ass. But have a look at Yusuf Goat, because moving away from the EA servers and moving away from the racing on circuit, that is a fantastic move on the inside line, and he takes P2 away from the Ferrari driver, and now into the top two goes Yusuf Goat. And this is the advantage that the V-Carb currently carries. No penalties against his name. Apollo Pepsi does have a penalty against his name.
Oh, he just picked it up. He just picked up another one.
And he's picked up another one, and that is also not going to help him any further on his quest to potentially finish on the podium. But realistically, it's not about the penalties, because he's not going to finish in the podium positions at this current rate, but it's more acting as a physical blockade for the drivers ahead. So if he gets ahead of McJammy Dodge, if he wants to defend as hard as he can using the DRS advantage that he'd have, and also using the dump of battery, it is now McJammy Dodge who goes to the outside line, tries to hold it, and does so, and back up into P2. They can't keep doing this though, because otherwise Websy is going to start pulling away. And this is where it was just a little bit more respectful. This, constant just teamwork between the drivers is what was keeping them so close to one another. Websy is absolutely begging for this. He wants racing. He wants close action from behind, because it's a perfect opportunity for him to just drive his own race and try and pull away. And he needs to, because he has a penalty against his name, and the advantage is still in the favor of whoever finishes in P2, because whoever finishes in second will be your race winner.
Yeah, just I don't know how long I had the telemetry up, but just having a look at that, I think both Meowsy and Yusuf fighting each other meant that they've used up their battery, and Websy's just got a little bit more, and he's going to be able to use it to defend. But again, he's got that 3-second penalty, so I don't see him pulling away a 3-second gap to these guys. But it really is now between and Apollo. Look, Apollo's retired.
Red Bull. Tell me that's a safety car.
No, it can't be.
There's a yellow flag.
It is
safety
a safety car.
Deployed.
It's a safety car.
And the GT Black Series comes back out onto the circuit, and everyone needs to halt and get a gasp of breath, because they have just realized safety cars deployed. It's going down to the final lap, or at least the final 2 laps. This is gonna get close, and the people who are just right behind the race leaders will be loving life, because they get to come into the pit lane and switch over to a new set of the soft compound tires. And this is a situation where the C5s can not only be used, but they can be used to dominate the rest of the field. They have the most amount of grip available in the Pirelli range. The circuit is no longer green. There is rubber that is set down on the circuit. There is traction and there is grip. And those soft compound tires will absolutely burn through the rest of the field. And now you have 20 lap old hard compound tires, or at least 18 to 20 lap old hard compound tires that you have to absolutely slice through.
So JP, I think let's look at the strategy here. I think the safety cars come out, but I think we're going to have 2 laps of running. So is a safety car in this lap?
The thing is, that's why I'm confused, because it's lap 30.
There we are. So it's in, right? So those that have pitted.
But Aiden's already caught up, and he's got a new set of the soft
in a great position,
tires.
but he's got 5 cars to get in.
Yes, but look at the tire deficit. It's humongous, and you have 2 laps on those soft compound tires. They're in the perfect window. Aiden just needs to get close now. He needs to not be backing off like he's doing. He needs to be right there, ready to pounce. Because if he can make it count, if he can make it stick, use the traction and grip out of these 2 laps of racing, then it could really come down to the wire. It is green flag running here at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. It is McLaren who has the advantage out in front, but it is McJammy Dodge with the penalty applied who currently has the virtual lead. It is Yusuf Goat looking for an opportunity to potentially take it away, and it is Aiden Riziums who is trying to use those C5 soft compound tires to the absolute fullest extent. And now looking behind, everyone is starting to come through on the soft compound tires. They have the grip, they have the traction. It's the penultimate lap of racing, and Aiden Riziums is trying to make it count. One opportunity, one chance. You have gone on a new set of tires. tyres, can you not only make your positions back, but can you take the win in this situation? There's a lot of defending ahead, but is there a good opportunity where you can just slice through? It doesn't look like it's gonna happen, and it's still in the favour of McJammy dodging the Ferrari. They will still push to their absolute ends, but will it count? Will it matter? Those soft compound tyres are on a different element of pace, and it really will come down to the final lap here. The advantage is Ferrari, the pace is Haas, and now going across the timing line, DRS is enabled, but it will not be used, and it really will get quite close. Look at them fighting away. McJammy Dodge takes the physical lead of the race. Yusuf Goat still behind. Aiden is up to P4, and it is really coming down to the wire. It is hunting all the way to the checkered flag, and Haas still just holding on for dear life. Who will take this? It is still McLaren holding on, potentially defending against Yusuf Goat, but does this just open the door for Aiden Riziums? No, he looked for the inside line. He couldn't get it done, and he's now going to go down in elevation. He needs to swoop across. He needs to make the move now, and he can't. The Haas doesn't get the exit out of the corner as well, and Ferrari is still pushing along here. No. He's gonna send it, of course he's gonna send it. He's on the C5 soft compound tyres, but it's too little, too late. He went to box, and he's gonna most likely finish on the podium a 10th and a half. He's on the outside line, but here in Italy, here in Emilia-Romagna, in the region of Italy, which is the backyard of the Tifosi, it is the Scuderia and the prancing horses. Ferrari win at home, and it is McJammy Dodge who picks up the win, and that is the most significant part about it. Websy down in P4. The championship just ticks over a little bit more, and McJammy keeping his hopes alive. Aiden Riziums in P2. He was close, but no close enough, and Yusuf Goat finishes on the podium. My God, what a finish.
Yeah, that was a spectacular finish there from Aiden. I didn't think he would catch up, but I think he had a little bit of help from his teammate, and he just drove a masterful last lap to get a P2. I think that overtake from Meowsy on Websy on the last lap won it for him. Otherwise, he might have been vulnerable as well. So, yeah, great drive. Unfortunate there for Websy with the 3-second penalty, but that was so exciting to watch.
That was incredible. Really a fantastic display of racing, and the strategy came down to the wire. As I said, I think on a couple of occasions, so close yet so far for the Haas driver. I mean, it was the right decision to go for. There was no other decision he could go for in his position, in that moment, for the opportunity to potentially win the race. You have to go to the softs, and to be honest, it paid off, because he wasn't originally going to finish in P2, and he does finish in P2 now, and I'm sure the Haas driver is more than delighted. But is he just a little bit hurt? He knows there was still an opportunity for P1, or does he know there was none at all? Either way, Ferrari does get it done on those 19-lap-old hard compound tyres. And that is, I mean, have a look at that. That is a win in the sprint race and a win in the race. That is 33 points. And that's not even how Inters would measure the points. And, well, it's probably going to be a little bit more than that when everything's said and done. And Websy just missing out a little bit more. Got P2 in the sprint race, but only, whatever the amount of points would be in the race for P4. And McJammy Dodge needed this, desperately needed this, and we'll obviously scroll down through the field, as I'm sure you're doing to record the results, or you're doing it through your PC software. But whatever the case may be, it's recorded, it's there, and what a result.
Yeah, great drive from the guys, really was. So let's see if we can get them in the comms box. I'm not sure if they're using PlayStation or not, so let's see. I mean, how we
can easily switch over to Discord. That's the first time I've ever been able to say that as a commentator, because PS4 is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, every time I've tried to invite through Discord, it's not worked for me. So,
I mean, you just have to leave the PS party and then go into the comms box VC.
let's try that.
Yeah.
So,
Alrighty, I'll leave the party. I'll go over to the VC and we'll see how it goes. Depends no, because Aiden's on PC, so because both McJammy and Yusuf is on PS, but then Aiden's on PC, so I have a pretty good feeling Aiden would want to have a little chat with us, talk about his race. I mean, he had an incredible final push near towards the end. So we'll leave party and we shall regroup on comms box VEC.
yep, I'm just trying to find it. All right, JP, can you hear me? Okay, I can't hear you though. So I'm on the Twitch. I can hear myself, but I can't hear you. I can hear you through my headphones, but I can't hear you through the Twitch. I think you may need to share. This is why I do not like Discord. Do you want to say something again? Nope, can't hear. Yeah. Yep. It's all allow. Let's see if the other boys will join the comms box. Maybe it's just you, JP. We'll see how we go. Yeah, Ozzy, let's see if this works, mate. How are you? No, can't hear you. We can go on PlayStation. Yeah, let's do that. I think Yusuf was P3, if I'm not mistaken. Mousy,
Yeah.
Yusuf P3, I think it was.
Um. Yes. Yeah. It would be. I talked to
Yep.
Aiden. He's not doing interviews.
Okay, perfect.
Is JP streaming or?
It's me.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Alrighty, I got there eventually. Sorry, I was in the Inters thingy. Anyway,
All good.
All right, I'm invited through Meowsy. I'm not sure if he's going to join, but we've got.
Yeah.
Sorry, we invited Yusuf.
Yusuf. Yeah.
And Meowsy's in here, so maybe JP, we start off with Meowsy. We'll start off with P1. That's how we go. Yep.
well, race winner Ferrari in their backyard. I'm sure it's a pleasure to win on home turf, but not only that, but I think more specifically that little hunt that the Haas driver was on near towards the end on those C5 soft compound tires. It was pressurizing, and it got so incredibly close. However, race win in your favor. So obviously the usual questions by me. How are you feeling? How was that race? It looked so incredibly close near towards the end, and that almost pop-up safety car that came out for a lap and in immediately.
Yeah, I'll start off with the sprint race. I had a very good qualifying, 5 times clear.
Yep.
I knew I had a lot of pace on the inters just from a small amount of running I did. I knew I was very confident with my setup, so once I was able to pull away a 5/10 gap, I knew that Websy would struggle to get by me, so I just kept it cool, didn't get any warnings, and I eventually got the win, although I didn't get fastest laps, so that's a bit
Right.
annoying, but oh well. Um, then to the race, I bottled my quality lap, which was extremely suboptimal. I was almost sideways at one point, and I barely improved on my banker lap. So, started second. I had a very good start. I was in front of Websy before turn one, but then had a little replica of Hamilton and Verstappen from 2021
Yep.
Imola around there. Got pushed onto the sausage curb. I'm not too sure if Webster got a bit of understeer and hit me there, but it didn't lose me too much time, so I was just able to stay behind them, but I think he was anticipating a dry session for a large portion of it because he was running a lot lower wings than me. So I was able to catch up to him, but then he would just pull away on that main straight no matter what I did. So I just stayed behind, just keeping it all clean, not getting too many track limit warnings because I knew that would be a
Yep.
major thing in this race. So once I knew that it was the turnover point, I boxed and I think at the right moment, but unfortunately a safety car basically made Websy fine with that. So safety car restart was suboptimal. Checkered flag and I had a bit of an incident. I looked back at it. I don't think I did anything wrong, although if I did, I apologize for that. But I don't think I did anything wrong. I looked back at it. I had a white arrow, so I don't think he was entitled to space there, so I should be fine on that. But apart from that, I was just basically cruising. I knew that I had a lot more pace than the people behind me, mainly because Websy couldn't get past me for a large portion of those laps, even with DRS. So I knew if I just kept it clean, I should be fine. Although Yusuf broke my ankles at one stage, and I almost replicated instant with checkered, but luckily it was all fine. Although I did dip a wheel into the grass, which I almost died from, but yeah, it was all fine. And then Apollo just completely died. I'm not too sure what happened there. That was pretty suboptimal. I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine, I guess. Even if I do get a penalty with checkered, I guess that's another person down. But then it caused a safety car, and then I was just hoping that we would get past the safety car, but we didn't. So I knew at that point that it was practically like whoever is first after the restart will win because I knew that the people behind us on the softs would eventually catch up. So I
Yeah.
knew that was critical to get past Websy as soon as I could, and I eventually did entering the last lap. So I knew at that point that I probably was fine. I knew Websy didn't have the pace to catch back up to me, and I knew that he would probably be more invested in the cars behind at that point with his penalty. So at that point, it was just bringing it home, and yeah, very nice drive.
Yeah.
Everyone was pretty clean today, so surprisingly not a lot of safety cars considering it was changeable conditions. But yeah, very
Yeah.
well from everyone and myself.
Well, let me ask you this, because you're Ferrari driver and full-time seat, of course, you're not reserving, otherwise you would have missed out on a few rounds here and there. But More specifically, here in Imola, Italy, in the more northern region here in Emilia-Romagna, here for Imola, does it still feel that kind of maybe special feeling as a Ferrari would feel, winning in Italy, or is it just another win to your name?
Of course, it makes it more special that it is in Ferrari's backyard. It just makes it a bit more memorable that it was such a clean and, I guess, in some regards, dominating in the sprint race. It made it a lot better than just a normal win, like in Spa, for instance. I do rate Monaco a bit more because it's the Principality, of course, but
Yep.
Imola is still a very good race, and I would definitely be proud of this winning in Ferrari's backyard. So
Yeah.
hopefully I can continue this form into Baku next
It
week.
is. So
Oh, okay.
you're getting on to the next question or so, but we got 10 rounds remaining in the calendar, with Baku up next, Azerbaijan next week, so no break week this time round. And we're also considering the championship in this question. Obviously, Websy, P1, the closest person to you, obviously, when we don't consider Finns in the Williams, and he's 58 points ahead of you. Obviously, that's before points now. I believe he finished in P4 after his penalty. He finished P2 in the sprint race as well. You just had the edge on him this weekend, and I guess, are you hoping that maybe something like that can just keep happening in your favor, where he's not on that podium, and you can just keep just edging him out every single time, and potentially start to close that down, because that's a big haul of points in your favor against him.
Yeah, of course, Websy is an extremely quick driver, so it's going to be very hard. It's kind of like Lando's situation that I'm in right now, trying to hunt down Max. So hopefully I can. I will be missing races, so I'm just praying at this point Websy also misses like at least 2 races, because maybe it could be on, but if he isn't missing any races and he gets a decent points finish in those races I'm gone, I don't believe I have a chance at the championship, unfortunately.
Especially if it's later into the season as well, he's just going to pick up the championship at that point.
Yeah, I do believe I am missing the final race. So
oh no.
That is not optimal, but I'm just praying that he's missing Mexico because it's an Enduro. So if he is, thank goodness, that could be 48 points, because from the pre-season
might be standing out front of his house, just disconnecting the internet connection.
Yeah, disconnecting the MBN.
Exactly. Hopefully he does miss Mexico, because I do know I have good pace relative to him, especially because we race each other in pre-season around here, and we were finished like 2/10 from each other. So
well, either way, close margins, close overall deficit. I'll let you speak in a sec. I'm sorry, Battle Cat, but obviously congratulations on a win in your favour. It's now your third, not consecutively, of course, but the fight in the championship is still on. It's a tough one, but congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations, mate. Nothing else to add. Just great drive there, pure domination. From winning the sprint, winning the feature. All you needed, the only thing that you didn't tick the box was a fastest lap, but I'll forgive you for that, mate. Yeah. Maximum points.
I did have fastest lap, but then it got taken away because of the safety car restart, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. No, that's all good. All good. Thanks a lot, man. Yeah. I'll catch you next week. We've got we've got Yusuf P3. So Yusuf, well done. I think you were really fighting there for most of that sprint race. Towards the end there, keeping it together with Websy, Mousy, Aiden. I think there was KLX in there as well, Finns. There was a whole bunch of you guys. So well done, and good job bringing it home in P3. Maybe talk us through those last few laps there with the safety car and Aiden coming through with those soft tyres.
That was a really fun last few laps of the race, you could say that, I don't know if the final results could be finalized right now. I know there has been a few incidents that might be getting looked into, but yeah, I'm really happy with how the grid performed today. Minimal safety cars, and the driving with the other drivers was just absolutely amazing. It was so fun with Aiden. Lovely moves. I had McJamie on his ankles a few times, which was very fun. He got me back, but it was nice to be in P2 for a bit. But I think the win was in reach easily. But yeah, I think McJamie he had the upper hand coming into this weekend. I could feel it. I was just wrong place, wrong time. I think where I did lose out, maybe at a chance of the win, was when Websy, well, it was Websy's safety car restart. I think he could have maybe gone a bit earlier. I think him backing everyone up a bit too much made a pathway for Aiden to come back to make it easier for him. But yeah, still great props to him because yeah, great racing. He got me at the line fair and square.
Yeah, he was pretty rapid. So yeah, kudos to Aiden. He's not on the chat, but yeah, I think he pitted right at the right time, put on a set of softs, managed to make his way through. I think about 4 or 5 hard runners and finish their P2, courtesy of Webbsy's penalty as well. So yeah, great drive from him. JP, any questions for Yusuf?
Sorry, I was distracted by Goodwood. No, to be honest, it was a fantastic race. It was incredibly close. I think, especially on your side, a little bit of tussling and a very close action at points where very slight contact was made, and no damage, of course. But that's just hard racing, and it was an incredible spectacle to watch, especially near towards the end. And in your favor, I guess, trying to defend against those soft compound runners. I mean, I'm sure that would have been a difficulty as well. So just overall, in your favor, it was a fantastic race to watch. It's unfortunate it's only P3, but I think you've still done well for yourself, and I'm sure even yourself, you're proud of what you've been able to do here today at Imola. And I guess the only thing I can ask is Baku, Azerbaijan, close walls, which EA hasn't fully got realistic, and it just means it's a little tighter than what it is in real life. So how are we going to try and avoid the incidents?
Just drive, to be honest. I think I'm quite fast at that track, and obviously I've got that in my mind that we're in a constructors battle with Ferrari, and obviously my target is to beat Jamie, and yeah, I'm gonna bring the fight to him hopefully, and game on.
Yep. Well, it all goes different ways. Jamie's trying to fight Websy, you're trying to fight Jamie. It's going to be close contention, so we shall see. But 10 rounds remaining, plenty of races to go, plenty of good opportunities for you to try and beat out Ferrari, so good luck to you.
Yep, thanks guys.
Cheers.
Alrighty, JP, thanks a lot. That was round 9 sprint, so that finishes off the weekend. As we've talked about, like next week we are round 10 in Baku, my absolute horrible track. I hate it more than anything in the world, and I'm sure we are going to see lots of mechanics changing wings and lots of carbon fibre on the track, lots of safety cars. It always is a fun one. So
I mean, just join me in the comms box. Just retire from driving. It's paradise.
Yeah,
it's paradise. Every week.
Turn 3, I'll be in the comms box. Not a problem.
Yep, there you
go. Yep, for sure. So yeah, I did actually get a P2 in Oz F1. I don't know how that happened, but yeah, my track record is pretty dismal in that track. So yep, it's on the calendar. We've got to do it. So join us next week for Inters Friday night, 8 p.m. for Tier 3, 5 o'clock for Tier 2 on Saturday, and 5 p.m. on Sunday for Tier 1.
Aren't you an admin? Couldn't you do something about Abu Azerbaijan?
I tried. If it was me, we would have Japan every week and Monaco. Yeah. But yeah, it's
Monaco.
That's Mousy's favourite track. No, that's Mousy's favourite track. So yeah, and I won Japan. So I'm happy to have those back to back. Maybe a Singapore in there for Tetris. So yep. But anyway, let's see how we go.
Either way, it's been a pleasure as always. And what a fantastic race it was. Close action, close fighting as well, and racing always fantastic in Tier 1 at the highest peak of motorsport in the Oceanic region.
Thanks, JP. Thanks, everyone. Good night. Bye-bye.
Cheers.